The fiancé abruptly snatched the jade bracelet from the woman's hand. He then smashed the bracelet onto the ground. The young man was furious upon seeing this because it was his grandmother's favorite bracelet. He immediately punched the fiancé. As the group argued, a helicopter suddenly appeared in the sky. The man was the butler of the richest family. The billionaire had heard that his son was visiting his girlfriend's parents today. He had instructed the butler to bring some gifts. When they heard the man call the young man young master, everyone was stunned. They began to suspect that the young man might really be the heir of the richest family. The young man was also curious as to why the man called him young master. The man realized that the young man didn't know his own identity. This should be something that billionaire would announce in public. So he explained that the young man's grandmother had saved his life, and that's why he habitually called the young man young master. Once the misunderstanding was cleared, the man suddenly noticed the smashed jade bracelet and felt that it was a shame for such a fine piece to be destroyed. At this point, the girlfriend pointed out that the fiancé had smashed it. The fiancé claimed that the bracelet was fake, because the real one had been bought at an auction last year by his father and given to the man. He didn't know that the man had already given the bracelet to the young man's grandmother. The young man then demanded compensation. Just as he was about to say he wanted $20,000, the fiancé saw the man raise two fingers, mistakenly thinking it was $200 million. The young man quickly clarified that it wasn't what he meant. The fiancé then relaxed, but the next second, the man announced that the young man's meaning was $2 billion. He then gave the fiancé 30 minutes to raise the money and demanded that he kneel and apologize to the young man. Next, the man took out the gifts he had brought for the girlfriend's family. The girlfriend's parents were immediately overjoyed, because each of the gifts was worth over $100 million. But the young man mistook them for fakes, thinking they were items his father had picked from the trash. He thought the man was here today as the general manager of the Billionaires Group to back him up. When they brought in another large box of gifts, the young man started to worry that the situation was spiraling out of control. Suddenly, the man received a call from the billionaire. The billionaire told him to finish delivering the gifts and leave quickly, so as not to steal the young man's spotlight. After hanging up the phone, the man left with his bodyguards. At this point, the girlfriend's mother drastically changed her attitude toward the young man, asking if the general manager had sent him a lot of money. The young man said no, and that asking the fiancé for $2 billion was too much. In fact, the jade bracelet was only worth $20,000. Just then, the fiancé overheard the young man's words and concluded that the young man's bracelet was a fake. So he offered $200,000 as compensation. He then saw a large box on the ground, which he heard was also a gift from the general manager. The fiancé insisted that all these gifts were fake. Even though the general manager supported the young man, it didn't mean that the gifts were real. At this point, the young man felt nervous, which only made the fiancé more certain that the gifts were fake. The fiancé then stated that his family had already reached a deal with the Billionaires Group and that he wanted to marry the woman as soon as possible. The woman's mother was overjoyed. Even if the box contained blue and white porcelain, she still thought it was fake and worthless. So she pressured her daughter to marry the fiancé. But the woman insisted on marrying the young man. She claimed that the kind of husband she wanted was someone who treated her well. Her mother accused the young man of bringing fake gifts, meaning he didn't care about her at all. So she had to ask her father to decide for her. But her father also felt that the young man's gifts lacked sincerity. So he stood with her mother and supported her marrying the fiancé. The fiancé mocked the young man's gifts as rubbish. The young man immediately retorted that these were flowers his mother bought from the supermarket for $8,800. The fiancé immediately offered $10,000 to buy all of it, intending to smash everything. However, he never expected that the things he was smashing were all antiques worth over $100 million. The father picked up a broken piece of blue and white porcelain, claiming that this antique had once been sold for $8.8 billion. Everyone was stunned upon hearing this.